Hey, all, Andy here. Resume writing today. On your way to building a career you love. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining me. Big shout out to everybody who's here with me live. Get in the chat, say hi. I think I got a fun one. All on the resume today. So continuation of what we did on Tuesday, where I gave you the insider's guide into how somebody looks at a resume, what they're hoping to find, where they're hoping to find it, what makes them squeal with glee, what makes them frown, what makes them roll their eyes. And I couldn't think of a better way than to pull up some resumes today to cement some of the things I talked about on Tuesday. So we're going to do that. I think I've got about a half a dozen or maybe 8 resumes that Kara, whoever, if you're one of the people that got pulled, you can thank Kara for giving me a variety from people who enrolled in my resume writing program on Tuesday. There might be a few job search coaching program members in here, boot campers, and great to have everybody. Let's see who's with me today. Adam Stark, Paco, Charlene Crocker, great to see you. Fan of Andy, you know I always love to see you. Donna, Morley, Frank, Michelle, Fifi, L. That's code for Lynette. It's Susan and everybody else. How you doing? Let me know where you're watching from. If you have any questions, I would prefer resume writing questions today. Let's really focus on this. I'm going to, now, a couple things. I told you I got about 6 or 8 resumes. I'm going to run through them first. I have not seen these resumes. Kara took all the ones, she kind of looked at them, tried to give me a different representation of people from different locations and different functions, things of that nature. Different styles, although I love my Andy style, but there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. So I'm going to run through them, and I have not seen them other than to kind of pull them up and get them centered in the screen so that I could demo them for you, so that you are getting a real raw reaction from me. And I'm not going to go line by line, sentence by sentence. I'm going to give you some immediate reactions and some quick tips, and I'm going to try to call out as many things as I notice that I want you to just kind of tuck away. Because I know a lot of you are going to be working on your resume. If you're here with me, I'm guessing you are. And so I hope you really enjoy this. And then I'm going to take a whole bunch of questions. But first, I want to give you a quick agenda, just a recap of what I gave you the other day as to what's going on around the Mile Walk Academy over the next 6 weeks. Most of this is free, but I do want to mention where were we? So Tuesday, I unlocked the first session of my resume writing workshop, which is to get your mind in order and understand, like I said, what somebody is looking for, what they're hoping to find, the topic areas to cover, what they want to see, where they want to see it, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, the questions they ask themselves, and all that good stuff. That's up on my YouTube channel still, and it's up until tonight at midnight is technically when it's up, but honestly, it'll probably be coming down tomorrow morning when Stacy rolls out of bed. My entire resume writing workshop is still a whole bunch of dollars off. It's normally $297. So if you like what you saw on Tuesday and you haven't enrolled in it yet, or you're not a member of my job search coaching program, you can get that for what is $149 today, and it's an absolute steal. I know it's not near as much of a steal as it is at $79, but it's still dang inexpensive and high value. So we're going to do the resume reviews and the Q&A today. And then next week, I'm back with some more teaching stuff. And then the following week, Monday, October 31st, if you have not registered, this is a all-new job search challenge, my registered program. It is a 5-day bonanza with loads and loads of job searching tactics. So as you can see how we're going here, it's resume writing first, then we're going to go into the job search challenge. I'm going to teach you mechanics of the job search and how to actually get interviews 5 days in a row. I'm going to say that's about 15 hours of coaching. All said and done with the Q&As and all that good stuff. The job search coaching program, which is my full-on signature course, is normally $9.97 for the interactive service package. And the reason I tend to talk about that version of the program is because while we have a self-study program that is always $6.97, and we have a middle pack, which is $9.97, this interactive service pack is the middle pack, where you get everything you can imagine, anything you would need for a job search of any kind, in any place, ever. But it also comes with online support and group coaching to the tune of more than a couple of dozen sessions annually. Usually we're over 30 sessions. So, and we got 5 of those little beauties coming up, because if you are a member, following the Job Search Challenge, the following week, we're going to go into the brand new rebuild of my 10-year anniversary edition of my interview intervention training program. I don't have the book handy, but I wrote a book called Interview Intervention, Communication That Gets You Hired. That book is already rolled over 10 years old. It's awesome. It has been voted the top #1 interview book of all time by Book Authority and other sites, and it floats always in the top, say, 10 or 40 or whatever, depending on what day of the year it is. But I did build an interview intervention training program back in 2016, but we're going to be building another version now, and it's pretty awesome. 5 days with me. I'm going to teach it live. We're going to do Q&A. We'll role play. We'll do all kinds of stuff. Really great. Throughout the rest of November. If you got if you got any questions, hit us up at support@milewalk.com. And I also want to let you know we do have a Mile Walk Academy Gmail live calendar of events that you can actually synchronize with your preferred calendar choice. There's no need, you don't have to subscribe or opt into anything. You just sync it, and there's some instruction on the page where you can get it up on iCal or Outlook or Gmail or I think those are the biggies. But anyway, so lot of good stuff. All right, now where you hailing in from? I think I left off Susan Harley. Great to see you from Vancouver. Michael Moore from New Hampshire. Always nice to see you. Sandy Zwire. What's up, my Canadian boot camper? And Kurt from down the block. Kelly Wagers from Colorado. Hello, Beth. I always hope you're doing well. Just Gaming today. What's up? Hello. Julie Anderson. I know you're from the left coast. And Victor, I think my leader or former leader or soon to be re-leading again. And Bernie, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. All right. So let's get to it. Who's pumped? Give me I'm a pumped. Now, I have no idea whose resume I'm about to look at. And the names are scrubbed, and Kara did all the sanitizing. So why don't we get into this? And let me know, Kara, let me know, I'm assuming all is good. And Kara is asking me, Andy, will today's replay be available forever or for a short time? You know what? I hadn't really decided. But let's not worry about that right now. I'm sure this one can stay up. But I just don't want the inside of my workshop to be up forever. Okay, let's take a look at this resume. Y'all see a resume and you see me in the upper? What would that be to you? I don't know. Everything's backwards to me, which is really weird. All right, so y'all see this, and let's see. So we took the name was up here in the header above the line. And so what you're looking at here and what I'm looking at is a resume. It is a couple of pages, which I love. It looks like it is in the right sequence. What's the right sequence to me? Career profile. You build this from the top down. You give the reviewer a Reader's Digest of you so that the reviewer knows who you are, what you're about, and you can aggregate your accomplishments, which is what I like to do up in the career profile. And I see right away, my eye went to this, 510M. So this is 510 million. The eye know that, the human eye knows that. But what you're trying to do here is paint a story. And I like the fact that this person put this up here because this person, whoever this he or she, is going to paint the story they want me to see. Now, I won't say this on every resume, but this one happens to have the career profile, which is the summary, which I like. The career highlights, which I would love to see 3, but at least this person has them in the right spot. The professional experience next. Thank you, they went in chronological order and they didn't give me a functional resume. That's great. There's an education in here, wonderful. And whether they have the bachelor's, master's, PhD, or other things, you can also put certifications there. I can see all that. And then skills, nothing wrong with that. List all the ones that you know that you're knowledgeable on. That's fine. You can also have a volunteer section down there. Anything extracurricular that you want to say can go down there. So all right, so far the format is great. Now let's look at some of the content. Now, there are what I call opinion words in a resume. And so what recruiters are used to doing, because they've seen so many of these. Now, I want you to think for a second. I'm gonna go back to me here. Inside your resume, there is statistics, there's statements, there's encapsulations you can make, accomplishments, and those kinds of things. The ones where you are stating what essentially is a fact or near verifiable fact, we love those. When you start using words to describe yourself, adjectives, let's say, successful, driven, ambitious, and things of that nature, we call those opinion-based words. And those opinion-based words we completely ignore. And if there's a lot of them and it's really flowered up, they start to roll their eyes. So the one thing you want to try to avoid is any extra words that do not justify that you are a certain thing or have accomplished a certain thing, achievement. Okay, and as I look through these resumes, I'll try to point those out to you where I see them immediately and words I would take out where you absolutely lose nothing. And before I get into all that, some of you are going to say, well, Andy, some job descriptions have what you might be referring to as opinion-based words in them. That's true. And if they have opinion-based words in them, like customer service centric, self-starter, and these kind of things, those are, if I say I'm customer service centric, that's a self-proclamation. The recruiter doesn't care about that because the recruiter's got to evaluate that for themselves. So we skim and gloss over that. But when you are matching up your resume with keywords where a job description has called for extra types of skills, usually let's call them the soft skills, so to speak. Great communicator. How do I know if you're a great communicator, right? I can't tell that from the paper. I need to be talking to you. I might be able to see how you styled up your resume and get some sense. Right. So if the job description is calling for those, it is okay to put what Andy would call an opinion-based word in your resume to match it up. However, if you do that, don't leave the opinion-based word out there on an island. I want you to justify it. You're a good communicator. Why should I believe that? Because you used your influential and communication skills to sell a bajillion-dollar project to some board of directors who had to whatever, right? So you want to make sure you're justifying. All right, let's get back to the resume. So successful, I would take this out. First thing, mid-market client executive, upper left-hand corner. There is some nomenclature there about what the person is claiming they are, except that mid-market client executive can be anything. So there's a 1 second test. I should not need to get any further than that spot on your real estate and that real estate on your resume and know who you are and what you do. Okay, so right now I don't. So now I have to slide 15 years. Okay, in middle markets, I don't know what middle market is. I know middle market is not big and it's not small, but I don't know what the definition of middle market is. All right, so let's see. Then here's what recruiters do. Experience in customer retention and identifying revenue opportunities. Okay, so now you're giving me some more words, except I still don't know what you do. Okay, so customer retention, are you an account manager? Identifying revenue opportunities, are you a salesperson? Are you a marketer of some sorts? So I'm not sure. Then you go into with Fortune 500 companies, so now I'm getting a bit confused. Are you a middle market person? Or are you a Fortune 500 person? So what you never want to do is you never want to mix messages with the recruiter, and now you're going to probably exacerbate the issue by showing me a lot of different industries. Now, if if you're going for something specific, so like if this person is going for a finance position, you want to say various industries, 15 years with X years in finance. If that's your bread and butter and you have, let's say, half your years there and you're shooting for a position in that sector, because the more narrow you go, the more effective your resume is. But now I still don't know what you're trying to pursue. You're in a number of different industries, while in some cases can be an asset, right? Because I like that you've seen a lot, except that I probably need something specific. And not knowing what your function is, I still don't know what you do. Okay, this, you might think I'm like really going on about that. This is a major, major deal. So think about, show of hands, you walk in a bookstore, you look at the cover, you spend how long looking at that cover before you decide what the book's about, whether you want to buy it, whether you're intrigued, and whether you ought to walk the 10 more steps to it, open it, and look at the flap, right? So that's what's going on up here. And structurally, whoever wrote this, I get what they're trying to do, and they are, in the spirit of what I want them to put up there, they are doing that, okay? So that's good. And they managed to get a number in here. Now, key focus on strategically managing a portfolio of national relationships for, now we're in a different sector, retail, public sector, and fuse box gateway, another sector, with a processing volume of. Okay, so I'm still not sure what this person's forte is. But one other thing when it comes to numbers, this number here, when it's million, go million. When it's 100,000, go 100,000. Don't use the M's. Don't use abbreviations as much as possible. All right, experience includes, I'm okay with that. I like the word core competencies. And then here, I like what the person did. They're actually putting in specific business functions. Kudos there. All right, now you get into the highlights. When you look at the highlights, you want to try to get something that's super specific. It should be a singular, I repeat in capital letters, a singular accomplishment, not something that's aggregated. Up at the top is where you get to aggregate. When you start to get into the career highlights, you want them envisioning specific things that are in complete alignment with the goals they have for the position for which you are likely going to be hired. Okay, so now I don't know what this person does yet. I still don't know yet. But if this person is responsible for managing a portfolio of national relationships, let's just speculate this person is an account manager of some kind. I still don't know that, but let's just say that that's what they do, okay? If that's the case, an account manager is likely going to be evaluated on how much they increase the book of business, how much they retain a book of business in terms of client satisfaction. So client sat and retention is synonymous. One is an indicator of the other, okay? And, right, growth and things of this nature. So when I say goals of the position, that's what I'm talking about. So this person, if this person is actually an account manager that manages a portfolio of something, and they're responsible for servicing that portfolio, the highlights that we're looking for that person that will answer the question for the recruiter and the hiring official of, can you do this job, and have you done this job, and do you know what I need you to know? Those would be the golden highlights that you would want up here. Now, when you get up here, and I think I said this the other day, and I probably said it in the Q&A, when you are up and on the left and you're going to start with a verb, the verb that you start with should immediately connotate that what is going to be in its wake, what's immediately going to follow it is an absolute differential, a number, an increase, a reduction, some kind of metric that indicates the delta and the impact that you had. What you don't want to follow it is an activity. So when I see the word spearhead, I know something project related or business related is going to follow. So multiple business development activities. Okay, so they do some sales, right? By identifying new business ops, this is an activity still, and I'm looking for what the highlight is. So the highlight is 106% of the goal. Now, here's what recruiters know. I have no frame of reference. Was your goal set reasonably? Maybe the goal was soft. Maybe the goal was overly hard. I know people who've attained 50% of their goal, and I thought that was Herculean. Right, so you haven't given me any frame of reference to know what that actually is. So instead of using a relative number that I can't understand, use an absolute number. So if you to ensure customer portfolio of 106% of goal, my guess is there is some number that you could give me that gives me an absolute metric. So that's better. And so what I would love to see here is it's not that you met the goal, that's actually the accomplishment to me. It's some business function related to the Great Eight, which I taught you on Tuesday, revenue generation, increased market awareness, and so on. You want to make sure that when you're highlighting a bullet of any kind, whether in the highlights or professional experience section, that you are focusing on one of those. When your highlight is focusing on some activity that is not related to one of those, even though I realize, technically speaking, this person is selling something, and their pursuit is, I want to sell as much as possible. I want to keep as many customers as possible. I want to make them as happy as possible. And they're trying to do that. But this goal loses, or this bullet loses all its potency by just telling me it was 106% of the goal. Who's tracking with me? Does this make sense? And whoever's resume this is, you're getting the best of me right now, and probably the longest review, because I want to drive home some of these points. Recipient of Bronze Shield. Okay, same kind of thing here. Awards. I would highly recommend staying away from announcing awards as the main point. I want to stress this, as a main point of your accomplishment, because you received an award, but what I want to know, the real major effect is what happened that caused you to receive the award, and in turn, whatever happened in order for you to receive the award was likely in direct alignment to one of the Great Eight benefits areas that we're focusing on. So, customer impact and multiple best in us e-cards for meeting and exceeding expectations. I don't know if the expectations were set properly. Right, so think about this. I know this sounds silly, but this is where you're really losing a lot of potency. So you also achieved over 100% of your portfolio value. This is a separate, sounds to me like it is a separate thought. And so what you want to highlight here is, what did I do so well, and what can I quantify or show? And then say, effort resulted in receipt of Bronze Shield Award 2022. Something like that. It's at the end. You can put it in there to show that, but unless it is a internationally or domestically recognized award, no recruiter is gonna roll right over it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, now we're getting into the body. All right, Elevon, I know what they are. All right, so financial services here. And so I love this. Okay, give me a little in case I don't know what that is. And then this is the proper title, I'm guessing, of the person. They probably call this person mid-market client exec. Now, this is all okay, but I'd love to see numbers, because if you're a mid-market client exec, you're a client exec of something. So manage strategic planning and improved levels, so on and so forth. Quantifications, accomplishments, that's where all the housekeeping goes, but you can do a mini roll-up, much like the career profile up top for your entire career. You can do a mini career profile for this particular title. And then 5 bullets is a lot. I would try to keep it to 3. And if you're going to say, well, I do a lot of things, you do a lot of things. I'm guessing all of you do a lot of things, but they're not all bullet worthy. Remember this, they're not all bullet worthy. Most of what you do is housekeeping and belongs up here, which reduces the number down here. Okay, so again, in the bullets, conduct, consults, exhibits, facilitates, promoted. Okay, so all of those verbs I would want to swap out for something where my brain knows you're going to tell me how much you increase something, decrease something, reduce something, eliminated something, or something of that nature. All right, you get the idea. So those are some thoughts on this resume. I'm wondering if anybody has any, before I get onto the next one, does anybody have any questions on some of the commentary I made on that one? Because I'd love to be able to address them immediately while I can pull the resume up. So while I take a drink of this delicious tea and encourage you to like the video for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel, because it genuinely hurts me when you don't get my new stuff every Tuesday morning at 6:30 and every Thursday at 11 when I show up here to serve you. Are there any questions specifically about some of the comments that I had there? Anything specific? All right, I know we're on a mini delay here. When is it appropriate to duplicate, highlight with a noteworthy achievement in the experience section? JCXG, beautiful question. It's always appropriate. So these highlights here, just so you know, these highlights here, I should find the exact same bullet somewhere in here or in here. I'm expecting that. All you did was you took 3 of them out and you put them up at the top. Exactly, verbatim. All right, so I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing any specific questions. All right, let me zip on to the next one. All right, here's somebody, senior information technology consultant. I know what they do immediately. Passes the 1-second test. 30 years of experience, awesome. Consulting, awesome. Project management, awesome. Big companies, awesome. And small too, wonderful. Create, manage, deliver, customer-facing tech, so on and so forth, awesome. Right? Something like that there. Hang on, in case I mark this at all. But 25 million in solution revenue, awesome. So these are consulting solutions, and the person sells to. Core competency. Consulting is a competency. Cloud is a competency. PM is a competency. Okay, you get the idea. Look at this. Generated. Bang. Brain loves it. Increased. Brain loves it. Generated. Brain loves it. So I would just change the M's in IBM Cloud revenue in 2015 by he did or she did something specific. What'd I do? I did a research case study and so on. Wonderful. Increased revenue by over a 1-year period. This is context. Okay, this guy or gal goes to the Andy School of Resume Writing, right? So that's context. You did it in a short period of time. That makes the 25 million even that much more awesome. All right, so this is good stuff here. Project Management Institute, Space Coast in Florida. Okay, love it. World's leading nonprofit professional, wonderful. Director of Technology, assume the role and responsibilities while serving as Vice President of Membership. So what I would have loved there is, what does the Director of Technology do? Maybe it's responsible for all, technical solutions, software, hardware, this, that, and the other thing, for what? Maybe you give me the number of people that the technology is covering, and so on. All right. So, but now I'm looking at a bullet. Increase chapter membership by 23%. Again, this is what we call a double whammy. So you give me a number, and then you give me the context. He could have said increase charter membership by 110 or 100 whatever or whatever that was, or however 110 or whatever that is. It depends. Whatever sounds like it's more. Okay, so this is all good though. In a 2-year span, I love that. And then by, this is the key. By doing what? So when I was talking about the effect goes first, that's the effect. That's what happened as a result of him initiating, managing, and completing a project to modernize. I love that bullet. Because all you need to say is, I built something and I made it newer, and it was related to this. And it was collaboration. So I love it. That's a bullet right there. You can probably shrink that bullet a bit. Maybe you could lop off almost a line or a line and a half and still get the point across. But that's really good stuff. IBM, it's a big company. You get it. It's a multinational. So now what he could have done or she could have done here is they could have actually said, I worked in what division and whatever, and if they wanted to. This is all good. You guys are getting the idea. This is really sweet. Education, extracurricular. I love this one. Okay, solid stuff, PC, whoever you are. All right, now, here's another one. All right, communications professional. Okay, now, this is getting really, I'm going to quibble a little bit here. There's a lot of different kind of communications professional. Now, if you're a major marketing communications professional and you span all that stuff, you can say that, okay? Because if you cover all Marcom, we call it, then that's cool. All right, but communications professional, I won't call it an A, let's call it a B, but I know I'm going to probably get the goods soon. All right, 20 years, I love it. Various roles, no need to explain that. You can save all the words. And now you're going into functions. All right, so now we're doing a lot of explaining where you don't need to do all that. All right, so if you want to talk about being a marketing communications professional, all in here, these core competencies, you could put writing, publicizing, social media management, and all of this stuff in here where it belongs, right? And then you can take this portion here and work more on, well, what have you accomplished? So so I like this part, and I would immediately love for somebody to go in whose whatever's raised market awareness by. So track record of increasing lead something or another, right? Something like that. That's what you want to have in there in this spot right here that I've shaded. And then a lot of the specifics about the functions that go into the core competency. Because it's more important for whoever this person is in the core competency section to be talking about social media management, content development, and other things that are hardcore Marcom skills than using more generic terms like research, writing, and editing. So a lot of this here, I would skip over all that. So I, the reviewer, am not going to pay any attention to that. And the person, if the person ever, not that I want them to, but if the person ever has to put this in an applicant trashing system, you're going to lose all the potency of putting keywords for the system in up here. So I would switch that around. Now, this is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, but it also is very disruptive to my eyes. I see a lot of blue ink. These are links. And I see a lot of links because my eyes dropped down to see if I'm going to see more of this. It's really disruptive, just like a lot of bolding is disruptive to the reader. You think it's calling attention to, it's really distracting. So if you want, now I understand what the person's trying to do there. They're trying to get me to click out because you're a staff writer to produce, except if you're going to take me to this site, and this site is not something that is isolated where I can see something you specifically did, a video you created, a document you wrote, or whatever, and I'm about to go to a website, unless you say you designed it, coded it, and implemented it, I wouldn't put the link here because you're going to take me to probably what is, and this is speculation, a generic site that I don't know who did what. So I'm not going to click on that. All right? 2010 Winter Olympics. Are you going to send me to the site? So I'm not going to look. And then Canada, A People's History. These all sound like pieces of work or art or websites or whatever. So I'm not going to click there. Now let's talk about the structure of the bullet. Coordinated interviews and images. It's an activity. Liaised with. I don't know what you actually happened as a result of you coordinating and liaising. So this here is a bullet that should be in housekeeping in some job that you had down here. So housekeeping, like, founder and writer and publicist. If this bullet that I highlighted is associated with, I don't know if it is, associated with this job, for example, It should just be in the housekeeping underneath that title, because that's all that is to me. You coordinated stuff, you liaised stuff, you did this, that, and the other thing. And then if you want to tell me as a highlight that because you did this celebration raised X millions more, or had X more people, or was shown in X hundreds more countries, or whatever, because of your effort, then that's a bullet highlight. That's a bullet highlight in the professional experience section, and it even could be a bullet highlight up here. Okay, so think about that. Developed, I know an activity is going to follow, and I'm not sure what this is. So you developed a distribution list for niche projects. Okay, what happened with that list is what I want to know. What happened as a result of me doing what I did? Here, multilingual. Are you multilingual? If you know 7 languages, it should go up here in the last sentence of the career profile. If that is just a descriptor of the project itself and that it was translated into 7 languages, that's fine, but I need to know what that is. And it also looks like you're mixing a number of different thoughts here. So keep that in mind. All right, sole proprietor. Okay, so this is his or her business, and that's all fine. Now, this here I do like. So now I'm assuming, because I just saw client initiatives, if I click that, I'm expecting, if I want, to open up a document that is somewhere visible to me that's going to have a list of this person's client initiatives, the projects, and what he or she or they did on those projects. So like a contractor. This person just told me, what you see is what you get. I'm a sole proprietor, and I must have highlights related to the projects that I've done. Now, I would love to see in here, sample or a complete list of clients include, and then the link me out if I want to. And then under here, whatever this is, if you're a writer or publicist for these people or these clients or these committees or these companies, then you're going to say, tell me what you do. Develop marketing communications for blah, 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 sample projects include. And then you give me 3 bullets. Give me 3 highlights. And somebody who's been working for 11 years on their own should have a list a mile long. That's what I would expect. So I know you can come up with at least 3. And I'm guessing if I click this client initiatives, I should see 7 pages of stuff. And that's okay. Okay, so you get the idea here. I don't love these link outs. If you have a link out, like if you have your LinkedIn URL up here, that's cool, but it gets really, really distracting. Okay, and Kara's telling me the creatives appreciate this resume review. Creatives. And I'll go on to say academics, researchers, scientists. We had somebody the other day, and other doctors and other people. There's not one of you or your type that I have not had in my programs, coached individually, and seen different kind of resumes. If you're a creative, you're a videographer, you're an artist, you're a whatever, link out to your portfolio, which should be a website, which should have all your stuff in it. And I should be able to go to that immediately. And it should be, you can put it up here, up in the top. It could be up here, it could be here, it could be anywhere, but work here, boom, go. I want to see it. But I'm just talking about what's going through the eye and how painful that is to see the bolding or see the different colors scattered all over, because you are preventing me from skimming, which is what I want to do. So think about that. That eye heat map is really interrupted if it's overdone. Okay, on that one. Any question? We got tinderhot.xyz who's invading my personal live office hours space. Anybody got any questions or anything about this resume or maybe the last one? Drop it in the chat. Sandy, what if you don't have a website because of financial reasons? Sandy, Google Docs is free. And I would take screenshots or put written documents or build a portfolio on that. For sure. There are free services or there are hugely inexpensive services. Or put it on LinkedIn or somewhere like that and link them out. All right, let me go on to the next one. All right, are you guys enjoying this? I mean, I'm trying to cover different things. I'm going for max education today. So instead of going like super deep on one, I want to try to pick and choose and pick the points I'm sharing with you so that you get more resume value. All right. Okay, who we got here? Results driven. What do we call these? What do we call that? Self-proclamation. Self-proclamation. No self-proclamation. Quality assurance analyst. Senior quality assurance analyst. That's all. Quality assurance director. That's all I need. Now, most of the time, dare I say 99.9, no personal pronouns or first person pronouns. I'm dedicated to ensure. Not only do you not need I, we, my, you don't normally need the word a, the letter, or the word. Your resume is a series of eloquent fragments. Okay? We're not writing for subject, noun, verb, agreement, and all that other stuff. So, and here again, you're dedicated to ensuring the quality of programs and applications. So far, I move off that because I need to assess that. That's a self-proclamation. I can't verify that. I would rather see what the accomplishments were. Applies testing and investigative skills to help team identify issues. Again, another vague statement. So what is it that you do? You quality assurance test what? Large scale what? Business processes, technologies, information technology solutions, large scale software implementations. Be as descriptive as possible. And then the core competencies here. Okay, I like this. These are skills. You can say core competencies include quality assurance management, other testing, other things, right? Functional testing, documentation, employee training, customer service. Like, I like that. And then you can say technical skills and software solutions or software packages include. One thing I would not do is put a table in the resume. Nowhere, no how, no way. Because number one, this takes up so much more real estate than I need, because you could get all of that in this amount of real estate in 2 lines. And systems, the applicant trashing systems, don't like tables. Remember, they're reading bits and bytes. They're reading the letters and the numbers, and they burp on symbols and spaces and other things. So try to stay away. DirecTV, love it. Okay, senior quality tester. So now say what DirecTV is. Give it some level setting there. So description underneath. Senior quality tester. Again, collaborates, validates, combines. I talked about this on a few other resumes. Try to get more dedicated to what your testing, built of the processes have done. Now, quality assurance people, what are the money goals? Money in quotes, not dollars and cents. A quality assurance person does what? They ensure high quality after it's been tested. I want to know what the bug rate is in your production systems. That's number one goal. That is what the quality assurance person does. Okay? Second thing that the quality assurance person does is what? Save money by doing what? Building processes that streamline your ability to test and increase your ability to catch defects. Second goal, right? These are the 2 major goals of a quality assurance tester. I don't care if you're Joe New Guy or Mrs. Executive that runs the whole department. That's what you do. those need to be in career highlights somewhere on the resume. Now, so I would put a highlight section here. You get the idea. That's the money stuff. Okay? So I don't know if there's any question on that resume, but thank you for that one. Now, we've got one in here. Okay, and this one I told Kara, if we get any from out of the US, I want to make sure we get these up. So this person must have had a picture here, and Kara must have taken it out. And this person's in Switzerland. So this is very customary to see a resume like this for a person who's in the Central European. There are a lot of European countries do this. I love it. If that's what it's called for, that's what you want to do. Put your picture in there. And the other thing that I've noticed in resumes like this is they also ask for a lot of details that in the United States we wouldn't ask, like marital status, citizenship, and other birth date. Okay, these are all fair game in a lot of these European resumes. Here again, but I would still stick to when you talk about well-accomplished professional, so self-proclamation, professional, still don't know, let's slide along. 5 years of pharma. Okay, when you're writing the resume, it's better not to abbreviate, and it's better not to use acronyms early on. So just spell out pharmaceutical and biotech industry experience as a drug discoverer and development researcher. So up here you could say, let me see if this is on. You could say something like, if you wanted to get super specific, you move it all the way to the left. And the other thing is symbols. You want to get rid of those as much as possible. Again, the applicant trashing systems don't love them. If you don't want to put drug discovery and development, you can put senior researcher or something like that. So all that's fine. And here again, generally speaking, and I don't know if that's because I while knowledgeable on some of the European customs, I don't know if using the personal pronoun is the right thing to do, but if it is, then fine. But here again, you're going into helping the people in any way I can. Very generic. You want to be more specific. And then professional highlights, here again, watch the self-proclamations. So I can't validate that you have an analytical mindset. I would love to know what some of the results are of your research projects. Because if you are a senior, if you are 5 years, you got some stuff under your belt, right? You've done some great stuff. So here again, proclamation and ability to recognize others' perspectives, I can't validate that. Remember, I'm just looking at a piece of paper. And so here, career break, perhaps if you had up in the professional summary, you could just say up here, returning to workforce after whatever. And then, okay, started a new family. So you could just say returning to workforce after spending, last 10 years with family care or something of that nature. But same kind of thing, online studies and certifications. Now, you could get more CV style here if you wanted to. And I want to clarify what I said on the other person's resume with all the links. If you have articles that you've written or research projects that you've done, and it's customary to link out to those, that's okay to do that. So if I saw a whole bunch of links here, that wouldn't bother me. But I would try to, my general feedback on this resume is to harden it up. Harden it with definitives and as well as much quantification. Researchers should have that. One of the things, and I think I put it right behind. This is a woman, this is a German resume, and she took, kind of the Andy style. I don't want to go through it, but I would try to get a profile up here that was very specific. And a lot of them do ask for this stuff, so that is absolutely fine. And I think this was 2 pages, and she had everything in order. And this is a woman who moved from one country to Germany, didn't speak the language, and was able to get hired. And I worked with her individually to coach her into that job. And I think this is the resume she used for that one. And then this profile here. Okay, wait. 11:49. How we doing? You guys enjoying this stuff? Is this a little easier to get your head around? Wait, so Karina is saying, in Europe, we do not use or are not supposed to use the personal pronouns. Yeah, I thought so. I thought so, but I will always defer if need be. Let's see. Clint Razor, is it okay to list core competencies in a 3-column instead of a paragraph? No. No, it is not, for what I just said a few minutes back on the table. No 2-column tables, no 5-column tables, no 3-column tables, no tables. No graphs, no hieroglyphics, no symbols, none of that stuff. Okay, MYC, my C. Okay, A, you do not need a and the. Project manager with 6, spell it out, probably, is in this case, try to use numbers under 10. Years of experience in IT. You could say information technology project manager with 6 years of experience in small to medium-sized organizations supporting the technology sector. Okay, I understand what this person does. Used project management strategies. All right, right here. This person, the goal here for a project manager, how large are the projects that you implement and manage? Implemented, successful, what kind of projects? Ranging in size from 500,000 to 3 million, and team sizes of how many people? 6 to 100 or whatever, up to 100 or something like that. Core competencies, all good. Obtained IT degree with concentration in web development, enrolled in with concentration. So all what you could do if you want to save real estate, you can say education includes, all right, IT degree, web development from. Remember, all you need to do is communicate to me what you have BS in, or whatever, BA, business administration, right? Something like this. I want this in here because I want to talk about this for a second. Business administration. Did I spell that correctly? Right, IT, concentration, or whatever, with expected date of. Okay, so now, when you put something like this, now, it's past March 2022. I'm wondering if this is 2023. But when you have this in here, now mind you, the you're seeing the blue, but when I look at this here, okay? After this, this is what my eye will do. It will skip everything this person has until this spot. It was like a dead spot in my eyes. And why is that the case? Because they told me they're a project manager. They're 6 years into it. I know whatever comes next has no detail in it for me. Then they're going to go into the core competencies. I already know what a project manager does. I don't need to look at all of that. But I see the word education and some other words that look interesting to me, so I'm going to check that out. That's why it goes at the end and not buried in the middle. Who's tracking with me? Do you guys understand that? The eye is so trained to look for what it wants, and it's going to make assumptions and fill in spots. Who heard me the other day when I said, y'all are agonizing over getting all this in there? The recruiters are looking for what the recruiters need to find. They're not reading your resume to find it. They're looking at your resume and glancing to look for the keywords they want or anything that disrupts the pattern of what they're looking for. This disrupts the pattern of what I'm looking for. This does not. And this here tells me I'm not going to get any information, so I'm not going to spend any time. You may think I'm nuts, but when somebody's looking at hundreds of these in a day, or they're looking to find something because they got to get it into the hiring official, whatever, this is what happens. Okay? So I appreciate, I appreciate what this person is trying to do, but that's what I would do. Okay, increase team's efficiency, love it. Increase team's quality, buy. Now, I need to know what quality is. So there's a service level agreement. Did you do something to adhere to, in compliance with? Did you always meet that? So maybe what the person is saying is, we had this service level agreement and we needed a response time of, and I did something to improve it by X%. That's what I'm assuming. Reduced data entry time. Love it. So this saved money, right? So you get the idea. All right, I like what they're doing. I like the layout. All this stuff is good. I think I got some key points in here. School. You get the idea. Okay. Let me see. Next one. What do we got? And I think this might be my last one. And I'm pretty happy with myself right now because I wanted to spend an hour on this. Okay. So this person, okay, wait. So a cosmetic here. Okay, wait. I don't care what font you use. Okay, but this font, for whatever reason, now I want y'all to know you can't see this, but I'm looking at this resume and all these resumes on a ultra high definition 27-inch monitor. Okay, so I can see it big and bright. And this font, for whatever reason, is very squished. I don't know that I'm going to get this right. Okay, this font spaced out. Let me see if I can see this. Hang on. This font spaced out. You see the difference in the spacing? The eye's going to enjoy that more. And I don't love this font. I don't love Calibri. I like that Garamond. I think somebody early on, let me see, had the Garamond. Like, that's pretty to me. It looks elegant. It looks executive-like. I use Avenir when I write each day, but which is totally different. But anyway, so just cosmetically, because what the squishy, I don't even know. So this is Arial. So it could be the size of the font, but and this particular view, I don't love it. Now, up here, nonprofit professional. Okay, so I know the person works in nonprofit in 20 years, local, state, and national. Okay, now I would love to know if there's a particular function this person has in nonprofit, but that's okay. Let's not overly quibble, because you know I love my 1 second tests. National organizations creating and building, okay, the whole gamut that expands organizational reach. Now, that to me is I'm in charge of outreach programs or organizational and outreach programs or something like that. So track record of outreach. So you could try to condense it if that's the case. Deepen program impact, build capacity, leverage reach. So a lot of this stuff is not necessary to get all these specific activities in as you're describing yourself. Remember, this is selling you, not listing everything you can do. So when you get into conceptualize and operationalize integrated social impact strategies, okay, this I like, and programs I like, from ideation to launch I like. Everything that's included, I'm going to infer, right? You imply, I infer that you do all those other things that the first, second, and third portion of the first, second, and portion of the third line told me. So I don't need to see that. All right. And evaluation in single org. Okay, no abbreviations, organizations, companies, communities, whatever the proper term is, to affiliate networks of 4 to 1,200 in size, just say up to 1,200 in size. Leading teams from 3 to 12, just say up to 12 people. managing multi-year relationships ranging from 250,000, use the word to 16 million, and pass through grants from, or you could just say up to. Either way, this is not a bad start here, but there's a lot of extras in here that I probably didn't need. Core competencies, that looks good. American Corps alum, okay. All right, I love it. You can put that in. Wait, this I love. And it's okay to put, okay, so wait, this I want to make a comment here. So MS in integrated marketing comms. Okay, this is really good because that is a good major for this person, whoever this person is. And Northwestern University is a reputable school. In BA in comms, also awesome, from another reputable school. Okay, so that there is valuable to pull that all the way up. All right, so that's cool. This here, national level. Okay, so when I see national level, I'm going to skip this for a second. I'm not going to look at that for one tiny second. I'm going to drop down and see what this person is doing. So now I can see that they're making a point to show that they did something nationally at a state level and a local level. Now, if this is a person targeting a company or a nonprofit that does things locally, she or he wins, statewide, awesome, and nationally, awesome, right? So I see what they're doing, showing the range of their ability to work in different sizes, spaces, or whatever you want to call it. Now, increased, I like this, engagement between sites and partners. So I love that. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, now, despite 75% decrease in funding. Okay, now, a couple things I want to say here, because this is, I'm really good. I tripped over this one. You heard me say the other day, hang on. You heard me say the other day that recruiters don't want you to explain to them what was happening during the time of year, the market, why everybody in your company was getting fired, because we have no emotional attachment to that, okay? We don't. It doesn't matter that the stock market was going down, everybody was having a hard time selling. You sold or you didn't, right? I mean, like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm sorry, I just don't care, all right? That's how they feel, right? They have no attachment. You have an attachment because you lived it. All right, now, this person is saying, I increased the engagement, and I would like to know what engagement means, over a 5-year period, while the funding decreased over, I'm assuming, the time span. So I'm working with less money, and I'm still increasing. Now, where the real gold is here is the person must have done something to streamline, save costs, and that in and of itself could have been the bullet, right? So I'm cool with this one, where there was an explanation that this was going down, because what the person is saying is, I'm increasing this using less money, right? Now, why is the funding going down? And that leads other questions, but I like that. Statewide over 3 years. Okay, so over here, I would rather you would talk about your expansion and what this resulted in. Move that over to the left. You always want, much like the person did here, saved 50K. Again, I would go 50,000, right? Something like that. But you want to have the effect as far to the left as possible. Why? Because people go down the left column. They read down. They read half the page. They're not reading the whole page. When you start burying the lead and moving stuff and over to the right, we don't see it. So I'm more apt to see stuff here and down than I am to see this stuff here and down. So a lot of this stuff over here, over here in this section, I'm not going to get to. I won't read it left to right and word for word. So just keep that in mind. All right, so Boys and Girls Club. Okay, I think I know who this is now. All right, so calibrates what it is. Chief Impact Officer. I love that. And then here explains what that is, because that can mean different things to different people. And since I'm not a nonprofit, guru, I'm hoping that is is a proper term, and if it's not, then I would put all the proper terminology, outreach or whatever, and things that I'm a little more familiar with in the description here. And then here again, save the 50K. I like seeing it there. So map data is an activity. So now I go over here. I skip everything. Okay, increase staff at 20%. I still haven't got increase in budget from. So what happened here? Just a budget is increased, but what's the value in that? We're throwing more money at something. What I care about is we throwing more money at it. That means it's costing me more. When the budget goes up, all I know is it costs me more. So now what happened? So watch entangling the person there or not providing enough detail. But map data and sources throughout the organization to optimize data capture and reporting, which enabled expansion of programs and increased staffing and increase in budget. So is the real value here that you did something that provided visibility that allowed you to make decisions to better optimize your spend, which resulted in more value, right? Or something like that. That's where the story has to go. So because I can't make the connection between you did something and then we just increased the budget. So watch that kind of stuff. But here again, I mean, I'm really trying to nitpick because I want you guys to get the most value here. All right, so you get the theme. Miss Smarty Gal here. That's a pretty good run at a resume for sure. All right, so how are we doing? You guys, you enjoy that? That was a solid hour of Andy nitpicking, and I hope I just number one, whoever y'all are, number one, Kara's gonna tell you Andy did your resume little feedback. And she'll probably say, and it was time-stamped at 11:47 Central Daylight Time. Here, boop, go there. Or you're 28 minutes in. And so if you did send us your resume, thank you for that. If you just jumped into the resume workshop, thank you for that, because any of these people are in that or are in the boot camp. The boot camp is also the job search coaching program. They're synonymous. And so I thank that because I think there are some boot camper resumes in there too. And for those of you that just jumped in the resume workshop that sent me your resume that we did a little flyover here, I hope you really go through the program and really see how to make it better, because I want you to have the best results. So what's this still breathing? Maybe I did yours? JCXG? I don't know. So Kara, can you do me a favor? Can we now start to I'm gonna revisit the PowerPoint slide and just show everybody, kind of what's coming, these next several weeks, and then we're gonna go into the Q&A, and I'm sure I'm gonna give you my best here today. Okay, so you got it. Make sure you catch the version of the resume workshop, the first session, the version that we let out on Tuesday. It's gonna be up until tonight. Resume workshop, $149 only today. That ends tonight, and then it goes up to $297 tomorrow. So we did that, and then next week I'll be here, and then the following week. If you have not signed up for the Job Search Challenge, please sign up for that. It's gonna be epic. I mean, it's really, really fun and really, really helpful. Job search coaching program, that's the boot camp. I probably should have put that in there. That's $200 off the interactive service package. And then anybody who's in that program by November 8th at 11 o'clock, well, at that point will be Central Standard Time, because we changed the clocks on November 6th, can come to the interview intervention training program bonanza. You're going to spend 5 days with me. It's going to be awesome. And sync it with the calendar so you always know where I am. And you got any questions, support at milewalk.com. And Kara feverishly answers your questions. But I see everything, so nothing gets by me. Okay, what we got? Jana. All right, Kara, you got your questions now. Let's get these in order. Should I include a position on my resume whose title is very different from my current title, but was a job I held in my target industry. Yes. And you can always clarify what it is. So now, what you didn't say is, I held a title, but no one will know what the title means. If no one will know what the title means, you have one of two options. If it's like, I'm, Captain Andy's architecture, whatever. Like, it doesn't mean anything anyway. You can give it a generic name, and then in your description, underneath your title, say, internally known as System Engineer 3, responsible for blah, blah. Or you could put System Engineer 3 in your title, and then in your description, say, handled architectural, blah, 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 and explain what you do using the generic terms that people will understand. Now, it just sounded like you held a different title that people would understand. So if so, I would put it in there. Cynthia Kane, you are a boot camper. Thank you for being a boot camper. Boot campers, I want to give a shout out for all my boot campers. Can we use 2 columns in a portion of our resume to show 15 audit types performed? I would not. Final answer. L. Archbold. I have one main resume, but revise the top bullet points to target toward the job description I'm applying to. Is that a good idea? No, that's a great idea. That's an awesome idea, Lynette. A couple things. When you, all of you, and I'm talking about, let's exclude the recent college graduates, right? Because you're just getting into your profession. And your resume should look different, and I have a template for that. And you should have a profile, which I already wrote for you. You literally just need to take out certain things and put certain things in it. It's pretty good. And career changers, a little bit different. But generally speaking, if you've been working in a particular position or position type or career path, let's say, you should anticipate generally. So L. Archbold says one main resume. On her one main resume should be 3 highlights that generally speak to the goals that position would do for any company. So like if you are the customer service manager, it doesn't matter where you're applying. Every one of those companies will want to know, did customer satisfaction go up? Did anything that you do streamline you and your team's ability to better serve? I created a system. I revamped the whatever. I created the binders. I did the whatever that ultimately streamlined that process so the call times went down, so the ability to sell went up. The third bullet, did your customer service department, if you're more than just fix the broken stuff, but it doesn't matter if something's broken. If I call into a customer service department, they're going to want to sell me something, and they damn well should because they're in business to make money. So how could they better serve me? Did sales go up? Did you increase the amount of time your customer service reps had to upsell, cross-sell, and whatever? Do audits, diagnostics on companies. Offer them free stuff that makes them buy more stuff. Whatever it is. I want those 3 bullets in there. Okay? Then what you do is you look at a job description, and the job description will say, yawn, manage the customer service team. All right, well, they want to make sure, right, to a high level of performance. Well, right, make sure you support customer retention. Right, that's another metric. Customer retention went up under my purview. So that's how you look at it. And then if there's extra things in that job description, you either swap out your bullets to make them more in alignment with. So if you had a highlight and you were a project manager, and you're a project manager who is in a number of industries or number of whatevers, and you've done different solution types, and you talk about major things that you did and implemented. Well, if you then are, and you have like 7 or 8 major highlights, What you do is you can have the 3 you're most proud of in your generic resume. Then you're looking at this company. This company happens to be a financial services company, and they want you to implement a Salesforce CRM solution, of which you are wholly qualified to do. Well, one of your highlights ought to be where you implemented a CRM solution for a financial services company. If you have one of those, you zap it in there, right? And you pull the other thing out. And that's what Lynette's talking about, and that's how you do that. But the starting point, actually, I have a video out on YouTube that I put out. Stacy, is this the right one? You need to let me know this. I think it's called How to Show the Employer Your Value. And I talk about this, about the 3 goals and all that. I'm pretty sure that's it. We did it just a couple of weeks ago. Okay. Interrupting for a commercial announcement. Kara's saying, Andy, will you show the resume writing workshop contents, because we're getting a question about what does well, it's no longer $79 and it's no longer $119, but for $149, which is still half off, this is what you're getting. So you got the course, the insider's view. This is what we showed you the other day, except you're going to get the resume content build. This resume submittal checklist down here is awesome. It's like 9 or 10 page, maybe 12 pages of everything you need to step through to make sure your resume is humming if you send it out to a person or if you put it in the applicant tracking system. So we go into nauseating detail. You get the templates and all that good stuff, but then what you ultimately get are all the different build outs of the resume. So there's the career profile, the career highlights, the professional experience. I take you through all this, and I detail out each of the sections for you. They each have their own videos. So there's, almost 50 minutes on just the career profile. And then there's some supplemental stuff. So if you're a contractor, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're a vet, if you're a whatever, and you're trying to go back to work, or you're not sure how to package certain things, I go through all this, and then I give you portions of a template for you. And then there's obviously common resume questions, and then among all of these Q&As, like just one we did last October, all this is searchable. So if you search the system, these things are going to come up, and you're going to know where to go in the video to find out where I answered it, because you can actually search and just type something in on your product and find it. So for $149, you get all that, and you get my undying love too, and you get to part of the Mile Walk Academy family. And one other thing that you do get, let me see if I can pull this up really quick. One of the other things that you get, and I think I mentioned this the other day, but this is really cool. We have a community. Oh man, I'm going to need to log in. We have a community platform that we have that is only available to people who've paid something. $7 book, an interview intervention book, a course, a boot camper, a leader. And we have these spaces, and there's a resume collab here. If you're in the boot camp, where you can share your resume, people go back and forth, they talk. There's a private chat in here too, so I can chat directly with people, and then you can also chat directly with one person or groups, or you could take it offline or whatever. There's also resume discussions that anybody who is in the resume program would have access to. So somebody's asking here, should I include a position? And so you can go in, and this was the other day or whatever, but there's a whole, it's like our Facebook, except it's only us, and it's only people who've paid to be in something of the Mile Walk Academy. But you can get into that for as little as $7 if you buy the interview intervention book pack, or if you buy the resume program too. But it's nice to be able to talk to people in the community. All right. Steve Knopfsinger, I think you're a new boot camper. Because I think, right, we went back and forth on a Sunday, maybe? Was that you, right? For us older folks, hey, I just went this morning, I spent my morning at the doctor's office. I got my blood drawn. I got stabbed with a bunch of shots and physical and everything. And my smart doctor said, I am the healthiest 56-year-old person she's ever seen in her life. How about that? She wanted me to tell you that, actually. She says, will you tell the community they're in good hands and that you are of sound mind, and I've never seen anybody in your kind of shape. And I always love messing with the nurses because they always take your blood your blood pressure, and they take your pulse rate, and sometimes they'll use their fingers, and I'll sit down and they'll take it, and then they'll be like, huh? And then they're like, hang on, I got to take it again. I'm like, what? So today they put it on my finger. Kyle, the nurse, puts it on my finger, and he starts checking the cord to make sure that it's actually like plugged in properly. There's nothing broken with it. And he looks at me. I'm like, 42, 46? He said, 42. I'm like, I'm alive. Don't worry. I'm alive. 42 beats per minute. That's pretty good. In the doctor's office. I have no idea why I went off that. Maybe it's because Steve asked about us older folks. I do not feel old. You shouldn't either. But I think this is a good question. How far back can we list our work history accomplishments? One agency advised leave out my graduation dates and no more than 15 to 20 years. I had great seed work in 2005 to 2008, and my 42 beats per minute pulse just went up to about 150, because this is what makes my skin crawl. Not your question, Steve. I love the question, and I love you for being a boot camper. The other day, I was talking about there is no number. There is no number. Okay, I'm 56. I'm putting all 34 years of my work experience on my resume because it markets me best. So the answer to your question is, how far back should you go? Whatever markets you best. If you're telling me that 2005 to 2008 starts a 16-year run or 17-year run of what markets you best, then you do that. If you tell me that in 2000 or 1998 you did something awesome that makes sense, and that if people see it, you become a more attractive candidate, you go back to 1998. I don't know how many years that is. It doesn't make any difference. It's not 10, it's not 15, it's not 20. I don't care if you go back 40. And you can take your graduation date off. That's no problem. I have no problem with that. But once you start the chronology, once you start your time period, once you decide, I'm going to go back on my resume to 2005, then what I want you to do is I want you to start wherever you want to start. I'm going to start 1988, okay? So once you do that, then you run continuously, meaning your chronology does not exclude any jobs. So if 2005 to 2008 was great, and then you had like 2009, and then 6 months you crapped out, and then you had another one, you need to put that, because the background check is going to show it. And what's going to happen is if they look at your resume and say, well, hang on a second, you got this job here that came up on the background check, and you're not showing this on your resume, then you're going to have to explain that. Now you're in liar mode. Like, that's how they'll think. However, let me show you another, let me talk about another quick technique here. Let's say you start 2005 and you run up 16, 17 years, okay? Then between 2000 and 2004, that was a crappy job, had nothing to do with whatever. In 1998, you had something you loved, and it went to 2000 or whatever. And then in 1990 to 1992, that was also cool. So 90 to 92, 96 to 98. What you do is you stop at 2005, and then you put additional experience or additional professional experience or whatever the heck you want to call it. And then you give them a summary with no dates of the relevant experience that supports or markets you best based on where you want to go. So you could say, additional professional experience, held senior financial analyst positions for prominent banks, including blah and blah, to perform the. Leave it. That's it. okay? And you don't have to put the years or anything, and you cherry picked because that was relevant, okay? So that works, and that's cool but once you start your chronology, don't stop. Stay continuous. I once did a resume review of a woman who had this she was in California, and she wanted to get back to loan processing, and she had been like a paralegal and had done a bunch of stuff. It was totally different, but early in her career, she had like 3 banks that she worked for where she did this, and she went back and she re-educated herself and got some certifications or whatever the heck credentials she needed. And she's like, I want to break back, but I'm not having any luck. Because her resume looked like it was long ago she did this, even though schooling was recent. So, stop all that. We're going to change your career profile. We're going to talk about your loan stuff. We're going to change your highlights. We're going to talk about your loan stuff. We're going to put your education below your career profile and above your career highlights. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give you a big experience section, and we're going to talk about all these other things you did, and we're going to take the dates off and this and that. 2 weeks later, she got a job and exactly what she wanted. So career changer, back to something she used to do and had struggled for months, and then got in the boot camp and went through, and she's like, Andy, I'm just not sure what to do. Can we have a coaching session, and can we talk about my resume? I said, sure. It was pretty worth it. And bang, bang, we were done. 2 weeks, she got her job. Michelle Gonzalez. Michelle 1L, I love it. I have a sister, Michelle 1L. How do you leverage relevant volunteer experience when you don't have a lot of relevant work experience in a field? Okay. Michelle, what markets you best? If you got the volunteer experience, you have a volunteer section at the bottom, okay? At the very bottom of your resume, and put in everything that you have there that's relevant. Up at the top, after you do your profile, after you do your first paragraph where you talk about generally what you are and generally what skill sets you have that are in alignment with where you want to go, and you do your core competencies and you list your core competencies that are as close as possible to where you want to go, then put in a blurb about major, like in the profile, what you did from a volunteer standpoint. Chaired committees to blah, blah, this and that, raised funding for this and that, whatever it was. And that will help. Now, without seeing your whole resume and knowing what the raw material is that I have to work with, it's difficult to tell you exactly how to do all that, but that will help. E&M, how do you know when you've lopped off too much of a longer bullet? I'm striving to get down to 1-page resume. I don't know why you're striving to get down to 1 page. You don't need to do that. E&M, I think you're a boot camper. Am I right, Kara? Is that a boot camper, E&M? Because if it is, E&M, you have the exact 7 ingredients that need to go into a bullet. All you need to do is put those 7 ingredients in the bullet, and it will be fine. And there's no need for you to get to 1 page unless you're a recent college graduate. Matt Williams, my boot camper Matt, how to go about putting freelance illustration or senior capstone projects on a collegiate resume with no professional work experience in my area of study. Graduated at the start of the pandemic. Okay, so if you have freelance work, then you would literally say Matt Williams, sole proprietor, or Matt Williams Inc., or Matt Williams and Associates, or whatever you want, whatever you're calling your freelance company. And then you talk about what the freelance work is. Perform consulting, whatever, project management, accounting, this, whatever it is that you do. Perform consulting projects related to helping organizations with, or whatever. Tell me the story of what you're doing. And then sample projects include. So if you are truly freelancing, you put that in. And then bullet, whatever it is. And if you did it at the start of the pandemic and you've been doing it, so graduated at the start of pandemic, I'm wondering if you mean like May, a couple of years ago, then you'll have enough projects. If you are in the boot camp, so what you can do is you can go into So boot campers. Okay, hang on. Let me for boot campers, let me show you, because I think we get this question sometimes, and I want you to know exactly where to go. And so I want to make sure that you know exactly where to go. Okay, so any of the boot campers, you have the most robust product. Okay, so in the marketing module where we talk about resume writing in a boot camp fashion, so I condense the teaching, but there's this supplemental sessions and more resume layouts and exceptions. I spent an hour and a half going through all the common layouts. Okay, so you're here citing contractor or consulting work. So you could get a taste here. Returning to the workforce, employment gaps, unusual job titles. I cover all that stuff. Okay, that is here. Now, any of the boot campers that want to access the resume workshop, it's here. It's embodied in your product. So you have it. So any of the $300 products or $500 products that are out there on the Mile Walk Academy site, you either have them in the bootcamp product or you have them in your library. So you don't need to buy any of those other things. So you have all the teaching in your library, either in the product or in the library. Michael Moore. On the last resume, I noticed the dates were out of order. Is that okay? Hang on. Michael Moore, Eagle Eye. Let's get this back up. This one is the one I'm assuming. Oh, right. So here, this might be a mistake. So this, I'm wondering if that is a mistake, if that's what you mean. So when I look at this, 01 to 05, 05 to 08, 09 to 16, so far so good. This looks great. Do not get hung up. Like, I don't know if she had a gap here to here. I don't care. Look at these runs. Look at this run. 4 years out of, that's got to be early in her life. Another 4-year run, a 7-year run. You're not going to have to explain anything. Oh, you had a something or another here? Okay, just tell me what that was. No problem. And then this probably should read, I'm guessing, I don't know. She can claim it if she wants, but this is probably 2008 to 2021, and then this is 2021 to 2022. That, I'm guessing, if I had to bet, I'm guessing that's maybe a little oversight. All right. Kara has grouped accomplishment/qualification questions. A vegan for peace. What's up? What to do if you don't have quantifiable accomplishments because your job were low responsibility pay? My bullets just turn into duties. Claudia, can you tell me in the chat what specifically you do? Like, just tell me what you do, and I will tell you where the impact is. If you just tell me what it is you do, I will tell you how I would attack the bullets. Sandy, and then Kara, be on the lookout for Claudia. Sandy's wire, what if you don't have financial numbers? Now, couple things. Let's say you streamline something, okay? You're the accountant. I'm Andy, 3-year out of school accountant guy, but I'm an organized guy. And I notice that our accounting closing procedure each month takes 10 days of 5 people. Okay? And I go to the boss man and I say, hey, I got an idea. I think I can shave this time. And I put a process together that saves 3 days. Okay. So it went from 10 days to 7 days. And we got 5 people. And those 5 people don't have to work those 3 days. That's 15 person days. That's 8 hours a day. That's 120 hours I just saved at an average cost of $100,000 a year at $50 an hour. I saved the group, what? 60 grand or whatever it is, right? Like kind of thing. It's an estimate. It shows the order of magnitude. When you get in an interview, if they say, how'd you save the $60,000? I saved $60,000 by reducing the closing time from 10 days down to 7, 5 people. That's how I did it, right? And I created a new tool and I automated everything and I just had to speak into the microphone and voila, we were all done, right? So you're estimating. It's an order of magnitude. That's the first approach. Now, you're going to say, well, Andy, I don't know for sure. Like, who cares? If you go into an interview, no one is going to say to you, well, I don't really think your people cut. You don't, just, what did you do? I cut it for 3 days. We had 5 people working on the team. There was an average cost of whatever, right? That's basically how when you get an interview, you just need to tell a story that sounds like you are experienced enough and what you did actually would result in that. Because if I tell you exactly how I did that and it's all buttoned up, I'm not going to question whether it was 60 grand or 56 grand or 80 grand or who cares, right? You made an impact. Okay. Now, if you say, well, Andy, I don't want to do that. Did you streamline something that saved 3 days? Then just say that. Saved 3 days per person, per month, per whatever. You saved 36 days. I might go annually because it's three days per month, right? Times 12 months, times 5 people, times whatever, right? Something like that. And if you don't want to do that, you do your best in talking about the impact, which improved customer service noticed by. What was the evidence of the fact? Do something. You can do something. Okay. Vegan for peace. Wait, you have 2 jobs simultaneously. Okay, so hold on. These are when you say retail assistant, are you talking about does a retail assistant, is that somebody who helps me with buying my clothes? Is it something, so give me like what the function, what you do, not what you're called. And then an elderly caregiver, you care for the elderly. How many people do you visit a week? You know, I care for people, octogenarians or whatever, that are whatever. Like what is it that you can do to paint a picture of what happens or to the extent to it? If I'm a host at a restaurant and I pick the phone up and take the reservation, right? I'm a college student. Okay. I'm a host, right? I just answer phones. And then Andy walks in with the party of 10 who he's going to treat to dinner. I take the party of 10 and I walk him to the table and I make sure everything's in order. There's customer service element, right? I got to get the phone. I got to be congenial. I got to do this and that or whatever. That person can talk about, well, how many patrons on average a night do you help? How many reservations do you take? Right? And you're looking at the customer service skills that are built from somebody who works a year in a highly packed restaurant who manages to seat 200 people a night, every night, 5 days a week for whatever. You're talking about restaurant volume and what you handle tells me if I'm looking at you and you seem nice and sweet and smart and talk well and communicate effectively and you're smiling and I can get I'm going to get that you pick that up doing those kinds of things. And I'm looking for the raw skill for somebody like this who's transitioning into a professional job. So if you're a retail assistant, and I'm still not sure what specifically that does, there are certain things that you do. You know, you might work with the customer to fit the men, the women, the whatever. You might work in shoes. So you're trying to show of those great 8 the impact that you're having. And I realize not all of you will have all those hard numbers. But the world's just one big number waiting to be counted. There's some way you can show an order of magnitude. right? So I know that that host that works in a restaurant that seats 200 people a night, that takes 100 reservations, that does whatever, like I get that that's going to be somebody who's conditioned for that. And hopefully she's or he's great at it. Let's see. And so Claudia, if you kick me down one more time, what you do as a retail assistant. I'll take another run. Julie, less than 1 year in current role, having a hard time identifying an accomplishment to highlight. Does it matter that accomplishments are from prior roles? It does not. However, if I had 3 minutes with you, I could tell you what that highlight should be. You do something day in and day out, right? There's got to be something. If you spent, you said less than a year, but I know it's not like a month. It's a while. So number one, I'm going to challenge you to do that. Number two, it's no problem. Your highlights don't have to be from your current role. And as a matter of fact, if what markets you best is not your current role and previous roles, you still want to pull that forward. Marketing document. Susan Harley, what do you do? Oh, this is a funny. So Harley, my dog Harley is deaf. But when Harley was not deaf, anytime I would say Harley on a live show, he'd be like, probably thinking he was going to eat. All right, Susan Harley, did anybody see my dogs on the news on Sunday? Speaking of, yes, my dogs did the 4-footed forecast. And Tracy Butler, the morning weathercaster, went through all the dogs, their ages, their names, and they gave the weather. I'm very proud of my dogs. Yes, I know. But anybody who follows me on Instagram would know that. All right, so where was I? Back to Susan Harley. What do you do when you can't recall numbers from 10 to 15 years ago? Okay. First thing, Andy Time Machine. Right now, and from this day forward, there's no excuse for anybody not to capture the information. And to make your life easy, I have a career achievements journal that we give away free. Kara, can we add the career achievements journal to the chat so that Susan Harley and everybody else has it and knows how to capture what to capture? Because it's much easier to capture as you're going through it. And then you want to use that. You want to use the data in the Career Achievements Journal for promotion discussions, review discussions. This stuff goes on the resume externally. It also goes into interview stories. Okay, it's like the Swiss Army knife of tools. And then if you can't recall numbers, you're going to estimate. There was this project that I did in 1999. It was at Sun Microsystems, who was my client. I walked out in May of 1999. I had a session with the chief operating officer of this company, and we agreed on doing something, and I built a team that was about 20 resources, and I know we were billing $1 million a month for 22 months. 22 million. Right? Kind of thing. Rough numbers. Take a guess. Remember, it's not, did I get it down to the dot, down to the nickel? It's, are you a person? Is Andy a person who could manage an account to the tune of 22 million? Does he tell me stories like that? Does he tell me, do I believe 22 million? How did you get there? Right kind of thing. Michelle Gonzalez? Okay, wait, let's try to go back to Claudia. Retail assistant, serving customer, taking payment. Okay, yeah, 9,000 customers in 3 years, but big accomplishments are thin on the ground, even though I was very good at it. Wait, okay, hold on. Retail assistant, 9,000, helped and processed, 9,000, transactions, payments for 9,000 customers, over a 3-year period. How much money? Do you have any idea of what average sales are? Right? And so you're just looking for context. Somebody who's had to deal with 9,000 customers, or like if it's on the phone, right? That tells me something. I get it's not the perfect way of articulating, but give some context. Somebody who's I'm a retail assistant who handles, serves customers related to whatever and full service customer lifecycle. I helped them with the shirt. They paid me the money. They did this or that or whatever. But like, what is it that, like, I get an order of magnitude now of what you've done, and that's a lot. That's $3,000 a year. Break it down by day. Look at that. That's a lot of people. Context. Michelle Gonzalez, how do I organize my resume when my relevant experience for the position is older than my current experience? I have a video for you, Michelle, on how to get the employer to notice earlier work history. It's on the YouTube channel. Fan of Andy? Should LinkedIn profile contain the same bullets from the resume? It can. It doesn't have to. I would not make my LinkedIn my LinkedIn profile look exactly like my resume. I would have it a little more story-like. I would have the keywords in there. I would have some major accomplishments. In the about section, I would put kind of my career profile and some highlights about what it is that you do. JCXG, regarding being a contractor, if this experience is current and temporary between gigs, how ambiguous can the bullets be? They're not ambiguous at all. You just tell me what the highlights are. Don't tell me, well, I worked on this from February to March. I worked on this from June to July. I worked on this from whatever. Likely that will probably not come up. However, I might ask you, how big are these projects? How long do they take you? A couple of months, 3 months, 4 months. This one was finished, then we rolled into a new one. It's okay. Highlights. Hanyin, which section we need to tag returning back to the workforce? So here, let's just pull this up. If I was returning back to the workforce, hang on, sorry guys. If I was returning back to the workforce, I would go into the resume and say, returning to workforce after, you can get specific, 10 months of family care. 10 months of, 2 years of, traveling in the year of Andy, or whatever. Something like that. And just put it at the end of this paragraph in the top. And your explanations are done. Is another thing, folks. Don't over-explain anything. Don't over-explain. Get tight with your explanations, and that'll carry into the interview. D. Roberts. I'm sorry, Donna. Additional professional experience. I had great success as a manager of people before 1998. No direct reports since then. I'd like to manage people again. Should I focus on that here? Award high performing. When you say here, I don't know where here means. You can put it up in the career profile. Manage team sizes up to. Okay, that fine. And in the additional experience section, you can point that out. It's okay. It's not a problem. Liz Polizotto. And I believe I said this the other day. I'm going to say it again. I love that name. And I believe I said this the other day. I was watching Stanley Tucci Searching for Italy. I got the cookbooks. I got his book. I love this guy. Should you include college info if your degree has nothing to do with your job? I have a BS in film, but I'm a real estate ops person. Yes, 100% of the time. Final answer. I have a bachelor's of science in electrical engineering. I spent absolutely 0 minutes doing anything electrical engineering related. So, yes, you achieved some degree, and the fact that you have one, just put it on there. By the way, and I know you didn't ask me this, Liz, and I'm not talking to you, Liz. I'm talking to everybody. Don't ever. Like, this is a don't ever let me catch you. If you got a PhD, that damn thing better be on the resume. If you got a master's or whatever, it better be on the resume. Do not dumb down your resume because somebody is going to be freaked out because you have a PhD. Don't do that. That's ridiculous. That's not your type of company. Be proud of you spent the money and the time and wrote the damn thesis. Stick your chest out. Come on. You might think I'm nuts. I get that question a lot. Should I take off my this? No. Frank Menery, would you list holding okay, wait, this is a good one. I already like this one. Would you list holding multiple positions with the same company individually, or can they be listed under one company header? Okay, company, and then you could do a couple things. I cannot stand the fact that, no, this has nothing to do with you, that this creates confusion for you externally, even though it's wonderful that you're doing multiple things internally, okay? So you could do a couple things. If it's like I'm the, COO and president, okay, that's one thing. If it's like I'm a business analyst and a data architect, Frank, I don't know what you do, and I'm doing them, I'm holding them at the same time. That's tricky. If you were a business analyst and then a manager and then an architect or a whatever, you want to go company name and then you indent, title, most recent, little paragraph, housekeeping, bullets, only 3, or 3's good number. And then you go down, architect, what I did, bullets. Business analyst, what I did, bullets. And then if you are holding them serially, it's 1998 to 2000, 2001 to 2005, awesome. If you're holding them simultaneously, okay, what you could do is you do one of a couple things. This is really getting tricky here. I mean, I can do this for you if I saw all this and you told me what your goal is. I could tell you exactly what I want to, but let me give you an idea of how you can tinker with this. If any of you have a weird situation where, well, I'm an architect and I'm a business analyst right now. I have both titles or functions. Okay, which one of these do you want? And you could pick the one, make that your title, and then underneath in the paragraph say additionally hold data architecting responsibilities because you want to be a business analyst. You got to remember, when I look at this, when I see all that stuff, you are inviting me and you're actually forcing me to now start asking you questions. Well, what do you do? How much time do you spend on business analyst? How much do you spend architecting things? Oh, it's 50-50. Oh, it's 90-10. Like, I got to get at all that data. And do you really want me digging like that? So if you say, well, and I really like being a business analyst, I want to be a business analyst, then you just put business analyst and then put, additionally hold, right? Because you do this in the title, additionally work on data architecting projects 2. Fine. But the system in the eyeball is going to pick up the thing you want it to pick up, the business analyst thing. And then you want to really accentuate the business analyst work or whatever this other thing is. So, and if you're talking about serially, there's no problem. I was an analyst, senior analyst, whatever. And it's better to show the progression than it is to lump all your jobs together and say, analyst, senior analyst, this, that, and the other thing. The rare exception to that, and then showing your bullets and stuff, the rare exception is when you get further away from today. You can say, held various positions related to analyst, business analyst, system analyst, and so on between these years. Progressed from this, and this kind of thing. Again, lots of liberties here. You got to figure out what markets you best. Cynthia, does the boot camp have the latest update template like what you showed earlier? Yes. Oh, you're the fan of Andy. I love that. Yes. New Life Curator, 12-year break, workforce to care for family. First page of resume has caregiving, IT certification, internships. Second page has relevant experience in healthcare. Want to return? Okay, chronological irrelevance. Fantastic question. So hold on. You take where you want to go and you make that your career profile. and you highlight the core competencies, just like we laid out here. Okay. Then what you do is you can say at the end of the whatever, second paragraph, career profile, returning to workforce after 12 years of family care. Fine. Give me your you can go to the education, move it up if it's recent and you went back and did IT certs and relative internships, education, internships, and certifications. And you could have a cluster there. And then you can have highlights if you want. But that should not take up the whole first page. Okay? And then start with wherever it was, dash to 2010 or 2000 and whatever to 2010. And that's how I would do that. NF, what if the gap in my resume isn't a real gap? I was working in an irrelevant field from my original career I wish to return to. I have big accomplishments in the field I'm doing now, but can't share in my resume. Okay, so wait, I'm a bit confused because, so let me try to break this down. If you have a gap in your resume and it isn't a real gap, I wouldn't play around. If you have a gap, it's a gap. If you don't have a gap, now I believe you're not in the If I'm guessing if you're the NF that I think Kara had been communicating with, and I think you're in Europe. So for people in the United States, if you have given your social security number to an employer, when somebody does a financial check on you or a background check, it's going to come up that they paid you. Okay, that's how this works. So they're going to see that you weren't really in a gap. That's that part. I don't know how it works in other countries. Now, if you're working in an irrelevant field from your original career, so let's just say, I'm just make this up, you spent 10 years working in something that's relevant, and you spent a bunch of years doing something else, okay? What you could do is in the career profile, put, spent 2012 to present in focusing on this industry, working for this company. And then start your professional experience with whatever. So much like I showed you returning to workforce from, you can say, spent recent X years working in whatever industry at whatever company or whatever you did. And then go into your professional experience and highlight some whatever and focus on your original career. And then if there's anything that goes stale because you've been away for 10 years, if there's anything you can do to brush up, then I would do that. And by the way, I always like to double check this and be really explicit. On the one hand, when you're job searching, the last thing I want you to do is go out and gobble up a bunch of credentials or go get more schooling or whatever. If the reason you're doing that is to try to get credentials because you think it's going to make you more marketable. If you decide, nope, I'm NF and I'm going back to my original career and there's no question I'm going to do whatever it takes and I'm going, we're there. Train's taking off. It's already moving down the track. And I want to go get some certifications that I think we did this the other day with somebody in IT. And I said, and that's what you're going to do? Awesome. Go do that. That will help. But you're also building assets that you will compound over the life of your career. And they are valuable assets because you're going to be in that career. So that is cool to do. And that's how I would approach that. All right, listen, I need to do a time check because I got a hard stop at 1. Kara, is there any questions related to any of the programs or anything that's coming up? Anything that's coming up over the course of the next few weeks. I want to just reiterate, because y'all ain't gonna hear from me again. Here's kind of what we got. So this replay from Tuesday is gonna come down tonight. This replay I'll leave up on my YouTube channel. The resume writing workshop that I showed you, that's normally about $300, is 50% off. You get $148 off. Well, you saw that today. Next week I'm back on Thursday. The following week I'm with you every day at 11. for the Job Search Challenge. If you have not signed up, please, please, please. Now, let's see. Job Search Coaching Program, full-on boot campers, $200 off. They also get all the interview coaching to build the interview intervention training program. That program alone, we're charging $500 for that program. Actually, I'm still debating. It might be more, but a minimum $500. And so if you got any questions, support@malwalk.com. There is a question, Misty Iwatsu. I purchased the resume writing workshop. Do I get access? How do I access the information and videos? How long is this available to me? Forever. You can have it forever. And you access it by logging into the Mile Walk Academy, milewalkacademy.com, and then /login. And when you purchased the resume workshop or anything from the Mile Walk Academy, you always create a username and a password so you can access your training or get your download. And if you have a free download, let's say you've taken my free resume template. If you want to create an account in the Mile Walk Academy, I would recommend using the same email address and then create a password, and then you purchase under that account. I hope that helps. If y'all love this, please click the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the station. You know I love serving you, and I hate it when you miss my stuff. And share this, because I do think it will help a lot of people. And I'll leave this one up. I'll leave this one up on my YouTube channel. We'll take the one from Tuesday down because that has the program info in it. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. I'll be in your inbox, with different stuff on Tuesday. I got another podcast coming out tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed to the Tips for Work and Life podcast, it's on every platform as well. If you're not following me on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, or we're not connected on LinkedIn, because I love to be part of the community. All right, y'all, thank you so much. There's still like 100 of you here. I can't believe it. All right, you guys are great. I hope you enjoyed it. Get in the workshop if you need the resume writing help. It's a steal of a deal. We only do it once a year, so it ain't going on special for a whole nother year, and it'll be this week next year probably. All right, all y'all, thank you again. I'll see you soon.